Coming up on MSEB News, we talk to students about their experience at the Mesquite ISD Film Festival and find out what this event is all about.
We'll also take you behind the scenes of the John Horn High School Theater program and hear from the students bringing these productions to life.
And don't miss our exclusive interview with Mesquite ISD new superintendent, Dr. Angel Rivera, as she shares her vision for the district.
All this and more only on MSEB News.
Welcome to MSEB, live from the TEC studios.
Good afternoon, Mesquite ISD. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Martise Badger.
And I'm Marissa Camargo, and you're watching MSEB Live, a show produced by Mesquite ISD students and brought to you live from the TEC studio.
We'll bring you the top stories from throughout the district and take an inside look at what's happening in Mesquite ISD. Let's get to our first story. Our first story takes us to Mesquite ISD Film Festival, an exciting event where students from across the district get to showcase their creativity and filmmaking skills. We caught up with some of the talented young filmmakers to hear about their experiences, what inspired their project, and what it's like to see their work on the big screen. Let's take a closer look at what the festival is all about.
This is Oscar Godoy with MSCB News, and today we're going to be asking people about the Mesquite ISD Film Festival. Let's see what they got to say.
So the Mesquite ISD Student Film Festival is something that we started, I think 13 or 14 years ago, to give the AV students in the district an opportunity to show off what they're doing, and to compete against each other. There's a few contests that we get to enter, but there's nothing that's just for Mesquite kids, and so that's really what we wanted to do.
The most rewarding part about creating the film is probably placing in the film festival. You know, all that hard work we did, and to hopefully take an award home. That's what I feel is the more rewarding part of the films.
So for the film festival, we have really just kind of two ways that we look at the films that we get. The first one is just on like a technical level, like are things in focus, is there good audio, is it exposed right, you know, it's not too dark, not too light. And then the next thing we do is really on storytelling. And a lot of that has to do with composition. Does your story have a beginning, a middle, and an end? And we kind of look at that, was there some thought, can you tell, was there some thought put into what we're looking at? And it wasn't just kind of thrown together. And so those are really the two main things that we look at.
Well, one of our challenges was the timing. We didn't fully understand the time zone we had, and we kind of did everything last minute. But we did also face some other challenges, like members leaving to the film. But we worked as a team, and we overcome our challenges.
The thing that I want the kids to experience is something that I experienced when I was younger, is I got to participate in a film festival. And going into this space, into a theater, seeing what I'd made on a big screen, with a lot of other people, that is just an experience that you don't really get anywhere else. And so I know for me, it was very inspiring to want to continue to do this as a career. And so what my hope is that all of the students that get a chance to participate, that this would be inspiring for them as well.
Well, it looks like the Mesquite ISD Film Festival was an important event, and for the Mesquite students to show off their skills. This upcoming March is the 14th annual MISD Film Festival. This was Oscar Godoy with MSCB News, signing out, back to the studio.
As students showcase their creativity and passion through film, another event has been sparking conversation across our nation. The recent presidential election. With strong opinions from every corner, we asked people around Mesquite to share their thoughts on the results and what it could mean for the future. Let's hear what they had to say.
Hi, this is Nick Underwood in Mesquite, Texas, here to talk to the community about the upcoming election. Let's see what they have to say.
I feel like this is going to be the most important election in our lifetime, and my answer to that would be yes. There's the nation is more divided than I can ever remember it being. And regardless of the outcome of the election, I still feel like America is still going to be divided.
I think every election is the most important election, but obviously this one is huge, instrumental. Anytime you're electing the President of the United States, it is very impactful.
As in the most important, I don't know if I'd put it as the most important, but a important or even a very important election, yes, absolutely.
What am I considering most when voting? I'm considering the future of the country. So I'm looking at all the issues. At my age, I'm considering the future for my kids and my grandkids.
Voting, for me, I'm looking at all sorts of things. If I had to take one that was the most important, I would be most concerned with law and order and the Constitution.
My number one focus, rather, is going to be their platform and what are their policies, what do they say they're going to do. So when it comes to which issue I think is most important, me as a father of 3 that has baseball lessons to pay for and groceries to buy, it's going to be 100% the economy. You know, which candidate has a plan for the economy, and which plan do I think is someone who studies economics and teach economics.
I think it's the economy and debt. The debt crisis that's looming, Social Security crisis that is here. We can't continue to ignore debt.
Without going too much into politics, is going to be finding a way to bring our nation back together. Again, there needs to be some sort of way that people on all sides of the political spectrum can begin to heal. What are my thoughts on the current candidates that are running for office? No comment.
Current candidates, there's good and bad in everything. It's what you're looking for.
Well, first off, you know, they both have experience in government, so, you know, the whole factor of can they handle the job, I don't think is in question. But after that, I'm just gonna go with no comment.
How will each party impact our life now and in the next 4 years? We actually had this conversation in my class the other day when we taught the legislative process. And we actually said that whoever is elected president, they do have an impact on our lives. But you have to understand the legislative process, because the legislative branch is the one that makes the laws.
When it comes to the elections, yes, the people are important. You know, they're going to be the ones in charge. They're going to be in charge of one branch. They're going to be the ones that are making decisions. But by and large, it's really the party platform that's going to make the biggest difference.
It really depends on whether or not Congress, the House of Representatives, and the Senate can get together and govern instead of being divisive and dividing one another.
Wow, it's been an awesome day hearing from the Mesquite community. Let's go back to the studio.
While the election has everyone talking, students at John Horn High School have been channeling their voices in a different way, through the arts. The JHHS theater program has been hard at work preparing for the latest production. Let's go behind the scenes to see how these young performers are bringing stories to life on stage.
This is Chrisette Malloy
and Martise Badger
reporting from Horn High School to give you an insider on the theater program from MSEB News.
There's a lot of things that you could tell people to know about theater. It is an inclusive group. It is very accepting of different personalities, different lifestyles, different beliefs. It is something where we learn how to work together with other people. It is something that is inviting. It is something that encourages creativity, authenticity, and originality.
Theater is a great way to get involved with the school. It also helps you make great friends and can be even useful like when you go to a job interview or something like that, because it helps you build confidence and it gives you an outlet.
To get into theater, you just have to request the class. Now, if you want to do more than just take the class, our senior directs and our musical are generally open to the public at the school. So anybody in the school is welcome to get involved and perform or on stage or behind the scenes. We also have a talent show every year that we can do. In addition to that, if you do take the class and you decide you want to go further, the first year is great about kind of experimenting and trying things out and figuring out if you're a techie or an actor or both. And then once you do that, you can move forward. We have both a JV and a varsity in our department, so we have the ability to move forward and even encourage you to audition for college and scholarships or help you get out in the real world and connect with things like we have a student who graduated and he's working at Dark Hour. So he's a professional actor out there for scare houses right now. So we have a lot of options and opportunities to go into theater, whether you want to take it as a class, do it as a future career, or just enjoy it in our thespian club that meets once a month.
I teach theater because my family was a big proponent of fine arts and sports, and so I just kept doing it and I loved it.
I prefer to teach theater because I love to see the creativity that comes from it, whether it be creating props, getting new ideas on ways to do things, or discovering and understanding and opening up how to create a new character and be believable in front of other people. I also like to teach theater because it teaches you how to think on your feet, which is a skill that can be used outside in the real world.
My goals for theater is to be better at any other thing that I'm not really good at, and so I just keep working at that as well.
My goals for theater are to be able to improve myself and really just help out anybody else who also wants to pursue this passion.
My favorite theater memories are when we had family dinner right before AYO, and then Mari came knocking on our doors exactly at 5 a.m. telling us to wake up, and she literally jumped on the bed and woke me up.
My favorite moments in theater are probably like before shows when everybody's getting ready and we're all just having a good time.
What I get out of theater is getting out of my comfort zone and also having amazing people to work with.
Being in theater, you are able to get like more experience in performing or doing technical stuff.
The John Hort Theater Program acts as a vital hub for creativity and collaboration among students, allowing students to come together and have fun. This has been Martise Badger
and Chrisette Malloy
from MSEB News.
As the students of John Horn High School captivate audiences on stage, Mesquite ISD is working to connect with families in a new way. The district has recently adopted the AYO App to improve communication and keep everyone in the loop. But how do people feel about this new tool? Let's find out what they have to say.
Mesquite has adapted a new app called AYO. Let's see how people think about it.
Okay, so what do I like or dislike about AYO? The district was pretty ambitious rolling that out this year. I think they have good intentions, but there's still a lot of kinks they need to work out. Right now, them making us do it's making it harder for me to do my job as a teacher and club sponsor because there are a few things that need to be improved. For one, there's like many steps just to get logged in to be able to send a message or access your message. I'm finding that students aren't getting notifications like they used to when messages are being sent out, and they're missing important messages altogether. They really need to, my advice for AYO to make it more improved, you need to try to make it more like Remind. It was very efficient, it got the job done, and everybody liked it, and it was very user-friendly. AYO is a little bit hard to navigate on the website and find where to even send a message and such. And if you're going to promote it as a communications tool for the district, you need to make communication simplified and more easy. People don't want to spend several minutes just logging in to send a quick message out. So it's a good idea and good concept, good intentions, but right now many teachers aren't liking it.
The AYO app is not an app that's one of my favorite ones to use. It's a little bit confusing. It's a little bit difficult to kind of like navigate the app. It seems like when it was launched, there wasn't a lot of thought process into when and where stuff was going to go. And it just kind of feels like it's one of those things that's just been developed over and over time.
So the AYO app is really user-friendly. It's very intuitive from the back end, and being able to set up a schedule for students to be able to check regularly is pretty nice. It's more or less education Facebook, so it's very user-friendly in that regard. But I do not like how much money the district spent on it, and now we are fighting a deficit this year.
Do I like or not like AYO? Honestly, I don't like it because I feel like it's very inconvenient because there's only certain abilities that you could do on a phone and a computer, such as like messaging. You only can do that on computers and on iPhone. On the phone or other phone you have, you can only do badges, check messages, and check your notifications. But so I think it's very inconvenient for all of us. So.
What I dislike about AYO is that you cannot communicate with your teachers or your peers, so you won't be able to know what the news are. But what I like about it is that the teacher can post news about it, but it doesn't mean you can contact them about anything.
Wow, there have been really mixed feelings about the My AYO app. I'm Jordan Young from MSEB News, signing out.
While the My AYO app is helping our community stay connected, sometimes there's no better way to catch up than over a cup of coffee. Just down the road in downtown Mesquite, Bearcave Coffee has a popular spot for locals to relax and recharge. Let's take a closer look at what makes this unique coffee shop a neighborhood favorite.
Hello, this is Marissa with MSEB News here at Bearcave Coffee, interviewing with the owner what it's like working in a small business. What inspired you to start this business?
Mainly just my love for coffee. Me and my wife had this idea of bringing the mountains back here to Texas. We love the mountains and love Yellowstone and national parks, and so that's really what inspired us.
What are the biggest challenges you faced while opening this business?
Letting people know that we're here, and then just the cost of supplies and things like that going up. Just being a small shop competing with big names like Starbucks and Dutch Bros and stuff. Just keep on trucking. You have to work hard, you have to be willing to work out hard, and you have to expect to work hard. Meeting the people that come in, the employees that work here, and we've had the privilege of having some family members, some friends work here, and so just making memories with all those people.
Like competing with bigger businesses like Dutch Bros and Starbucks?
Well, you can't expect everyone to come here. There are people that are just diehard fans of those places, and they're not going to give up those places. So you have to understand that, and that it's not meant to hurt your feelings, but also just trying to have a product that people are going to like better than those places.
So Eileen, how did you discover this coffee shop?
So I went to Mesquite for high school, and then there was never anything here, and I go to the bank across the street, and then it was here, and then I come here to study every once in a while.
How do you feel about this place? Do you like the environment here?
Very much so. It's very cutesy, very cute.
It's very cute. This was an interesting time. We hope you could come down and support this small business here in Mesquite. This is Marissa with MSEB News. Back to the studio. Just as Bearcave Coffee is brewing up connections in the heart of Mesquite, Mesquite ISD leadership is focused on strengthening connections within our school. In our final story, we sit down with the superintendent, Dr. Angel Rivera, to discuss important issues impacting our district. Here's what he had to say about the path forward for Mesquite ISD.
Hi, I'm Sergio Mandujano, and today we're going to be interviewing the superintendent. I'm going to ask him some questions about what are his future plans for the Mesquite ISD school district. What do you envision yourself in Mesquite doing in the next 5 years?
So that's a complex question. So we have our district strategic plan, Sergio. But if I have to pick out of the strategic plan the main things in the next 5 years, I will tell you, number one, early literacy. We need to get all of our students at grade level in terms of reading by third grade, because that is the pivotal point in their lives that, believe it or not, is going to get them to access advanced level courses, advanced math when they get to high school. If they're at third grade reading level in third grade, they have access, and that's what I describe as equity. The second one is, I don't know if you've heard about AYO and trying to help our teachers understand the passions and aptitudes of our kids. Why? Because if they understand the passions and aptitudes of our kids, they're able to create interactive lessons that address those and get our students to maximize their potential and discover who they're really meant to be. I think that's really important. I discovered what I really wanted to be at the age of 30. That's a little too late, right? Yeah. The third one that I will say, and these are not in any particular order, is you've heard about the Mesquite Promise. And our community is a majority minority community, And I want to have an environment in our schools where everybody feels the dignity and the belonging. Doesn't matter the environment they're at. And I think that is huge because our kids sometimes feel like they don't belong or they're not apt through a task when in reality they're created for greatness. Everybody's created for greatness. We just have to discover that. And the environment of dignity and belonging will help us foster that. And probably the last one that I would probably like to accomplish, I would like to engage our community, our parents, not into just our buildings, but the educational process. To say, hey, little Angel's in school, I'll come in and I'll say, how can I help you? And start having those conversations where the teacher, myself, and the principal are working together for the best interest of my child. Currently, we really don't have that. We have pockets of excellence, but it's not systemic.
On the topic of the community stuff, how would you engage Mesquite in gathering more feedback and input on educational policies and programs?
So that's actually a 7 days a week, 24-hour job. I usually engage with the civic organizations. I engage with Rotary, AMBUCS, Chamber of Commerce, informally. So I engage with those four informally. Informally in the community, I attend a lot of community events, whether they're with the city, whether they're with any of the other churches, Mesquite Ministerial Alliance, and all of those. And I'm always very open to community members. They can come in and give me feedback any given time. I'm not very judgmental, so I listen. And I try to reflect on what they're saying and what we need. And then every so often throughout the year, we have what we call community forums where we open up the high schools and we invite parents to come in. And we talk about several topics and gather feedback about what they believe are the things that we need to be working on, right? But then we also have surveys that we send our parents, surveys that we send our staff, surveys that we send our students to gauge in to see what are we missing? What are the things that we need to do? And then the last one that I will say, we actually talk to our business community. And so they tell us where are the gaps in the workforce so we can then create programs that will give them the workforce and living wages for our kids right after they leave our system.
All right. I like your responses so far. So let's move on to the last two questions and then we'll get into this. So can you discuss any partnership with local businesses, any organizations you want to enhance in education?
Absolutely. So, most of our business partnerships are created through the Rural and Vanguard High School. We have several businesses that come in and give internships and externships to students to ensure they get real life work experiences. And my goal is here in this area, you remember when the Rural High School was built, they took existing programs out of the high schools and we put them at the Rural High School. The design was the empty spaces, then we were going to bring in new places. And I just met with Itheon, a new company coming into Mesquite, to start working about, they're creating solar batteries. So what are the skills needed? And what programs can we create? So a partnership between Mesquite ISD, Eastville, Dallas College, to ensure that we have the courses that we can get our kids ready for those skills. And I would probably put those programs in the high schools that we took programs away and start new pathways for our students. So then we can say, hey, Atheon, we're gonna come with you. There's Canadian Solar that we're also partnering with, and get the workforce they need because they're locally here in the area.
All right. And last question, what is the biggest challenge you face as a superintendent?
Biggest challenge that I face as a superintendent, there's several. I will start with number one, is probably finances. Our district adopted a $28 million deficit budget. That means that the money that comes in is negative $28 million of what we budgeted. So we're using our savings account to carry us over for a year. And so my biggest stress right now is, Texas is a state that does biannual legislative sessions. So this year is a year that we have a legislative session. Are they going to increase funding for school, or are they not going to fund public schools more? And so that stresses me out because I can only sustain this for 1 year. What are we going to do next year if the legislatures don't deem necessary to increase in funding? And probably the second one is students. how are we creating a system that creates successful students by design and not by chance? Those two things honestly keep me up at night because ultimately it is my responsibility to ensure fiscal responsibility of the organization so we can pay our employees and they can earn livable wages and they can then be happy and sustain and teach kids so they can change their lives. But also, how do we create students when they leave here? If they go to college, they're sitting in that class and they're saying, you know what? I was prepared for this class because of my experience in Mesquite ISD. Or I'm at a job right after my senior year, sitting at a job, and I'm performing at the highest level at that position because of the experiences in Mesquite ISD. Or option 3, they're in the military and they're performing well with either one of the branches in the military because of what we instilled in them in Mesquite ISD. Because ultimately, what I want to create is a successful adult that contributes to their local economy, society, and community.
This has been Sergio Mandujano from MECB News. Back to the studio.
And that wraps up our report on this important issue impacting Mesquite ISD. It's inspiring to see commitment from the school board and district leaders to support students in reaching their educational goals and preparing for the future.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of MSCB News. We hope you enjoyed our coverage of local events and news. For more information on today's stories, please visit the MSEB YouTube channel, X, Instagram, and Facebook pages. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Marissa Camargo.
And I'm Artis Badger. Until next time,
stay curious,
stay informed, and
stay awesome, Mesquite.
This has been a presentation of MSEB, Mesquite Student Entertainment and Broadcasting, in association with the Mesquite Independent School District Career and Technical Education Department.